gentlemen, is this the Zinitco we have at home? Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, the Talking Balaclava, for now. Today we are going over the Midwest Industries furniture on a Palmetto State Armory AK. Now this video is mainly about this new furniture from Midwest Industries, and I'm a big fan of AKs. If you don't know my lore, I started off running a very fun space AK that I have out here today, and I'll show you in a second. But AKs have since grown on me. I never considered myself a big AK guy, and it is really cool to see more innovation coming out for AKs as time goes on. Now the question is this going to be any good? And I honestly think TLDR, yeah, I think it's pretty good, but there are some drawbacks. There are some things about it that I don't like, and there are some things about it that I do like. Now the base gun is going to be a Palmetto State Armory AK with the Midwest Industries furniture on the gun itself. Now before we do dive any further into this video, of course, I have to thank the sponsors of this video, which is going to be Americana Pipe Dream Apparel. What excellent Zoomers. I met these Zoomers. I said, wow, what fantastic Zoomers they are. And nobody knows a better Zoomer than me. I'm one of the Zoomiest boys. Fantastic guys. I love what they're doing, and I am very happy to be working with those guys. It's a Milsurp win-win. It's a pincer movement of Milsurp. You have your Apex and you have your Americana Pipe Dream. So big thank you to those sponsors. They help keep the lights on here at the channel. Now, going into the gun itself. All right, so the SHOT Show ripple effect has now happened. New products come out in January, and it takes a little bit of time for them to get sent out to the gun dancing monkeys that are on the internet, me being one of them. I have actually seen a number of other YouTubers getting their hands on this gun. A dear friend of mine, Blue Jean Operator, has done a video on, and I should say the gun. I say the gun, what I mean is the rail system. They sent out the gun as a host for the rail system itself. That's what Midwest Industry was trying to do. Now that's the SHOT Show ripple effect. I did see this at SHOT Show. I thought that I liked it, I did like it. I like the idea of it, and so it is cool to get it on the channel and show it off to you guys. So far, there are some things about it that I don't like. Now, a lot about what I don't like is it's some petty stuff. It's like the weird nerd in me that doesn't like it. Now, for starters, the weird thing I don't like about it off the rip is its lack to fit a cleaning rod in the gun. So let me show you what I mean. A base AK, a surprise tool that's gonna help us later. We take its cleaning rod and try and jam her on in. The gun is clear, so you just gotta have to take my word for it if you're a safety person, and it's not going home. Now, I do trust Midwest Industries that has a reason for this when they were designing this rail. I will give them the benefit of the doubt, and honestly, the cleaning rod, I don't know of anyone using a cleaning rod, but I do love the look of the cleaning rod in the gun. To me, it completes the look of an AK, and not having the cleaning rod, you know, it's the main purpose of the gun is to shoot bullets, right? It's not to host a cleaning rod, but not having that does kind of weirdly irk me. I can't explain it. If I was really feeling like I really had to have that look, I guess I could always chop this thing down and just get it to where it goes, and I could be happy and call it a good day. And I might do that with this particular AK, but everyone's gonna know it's fake. So you can't really get your cleaning rod down there if you wanted to have it in there as a host. Now, it's a weird little surface level thing. You may be thinking, hey, maybe you pack your cleaning rod up in your ruck and you have it with you and you're good sailing. So there is a compromise. Another thing I don't like is another petty thing is going to be that when they sent the gun, or let me rephrase, I'm gonna mess this up a lot during this video. When they sent the furniture, it was already on the gun. Now, why I don't like that? I like it and I don't like it. The lazy part of me likes that. I don't have to worry about it. I can just throw all my accoutrement on the gun and start going at it. But the reviewerness in me, the surface level idiot reviewer that I am, so take everything I do and say with a grain of salt, but you kind of got to know how much of a pain in the ass it is to work on AKs. And what I mean by that is that AKs, they're meant to be like beaten to submission. If you have a good rubber mallet and an iron will, you can subjugate your AK. And I thankfully didn't have to do this because sometimes working on AKs and putting furniture on is a pain in the butt. Now you're probably wondering, hey admin, why don't you take the furniture off and put it back on? And that's a great question. Mainly I didn't do that because I didn't want to. I thought about it. I was like, what if I put it on a different AK? I thought about putting it on this AK, but then I wouldn't have the stock on there that I want. So I just left it on there, and if you want to criticize me for that, rightfully do so. Leave a comment and call me a nerd for not taking it off and put it back on again. What are we talking about now? That's the big gripes. And my last gripe is another surface level gripe, and this kind of gets into the ultimate autistic weeds of being a gun nerd in 2023, especially revolving around AKs. Now guys, I like to think I'm an enjoyer of AKs. I like to run and gun with AKs. I like to shoot AKs. I'm not the Library of Alexandria when it comes to AKs. There are some guys guys out there. Shout out to a lot of guys. You know, I think of Jim Fuller, I think of Brandon Herrera, I think of Zach Schaefer, who works for Brandon, and there's a plethora of other guys out there. If I didn't mention you, I'm sorry, but I'm sure you are a fantastic AK aficionado. These guys can get into the fine details of different parts, different manufacturers, origins, rivets. They have an eye for detail. I'm not one of those guys. My last gripe is the name of the furniture itself. Why is that a problem? Well, they call it the Alpha series of furniture, essentially, or the Alpha AK series of furniture. Okay, now why do I think that's kind of weird? Well, it would be like the Russians, to me, this is my thought process. It would be like the Russians making a 10.3 AR-15 for their civilian market and just calling it the Mark 18. Like, that's what it kind of feels like in my head, because when I think of an Alpha AK series AK, I think of a certain era of that AK when Russian forces were taking those AK-74s and turning them into more modernized, like their version of their Mark 18s, right? That's essentially what I think of as the Alpha series of AK. Now, calling it this, it's a weird thing, and maybe they're trying to like piggyback off the marketing, maybe they just like the name, maybe they think it's cool. It's not like a, oh no, shame on you, it's just like, to me, it's like the weird AK autism in me that doesn't like it. Okay. The stuff I don't like about it is over. Now let's move on to what I do like about it. All right, now we're gonna talk about the things I do like about the gun. And first and foremost, I can't say it again. Now I'm gonna talk about the things I do like about the rail system, or the Alpha Series AK rail system. And it's going to be off the rip, it's aesthetic. Yes, I said it. I know, it's almost like I love guns and the way they look. The rail system looks pretty solid. It looks aggro, it looks functional, it feels good. I'm getting like no wobble on that dust cover setup. The rail feels solid, but the look of it overall is cool. If you can have a functional rifle that also looks cool, it gives you that weird little X factor, Benny, where you feel cool, you feel more dangerous, and that's what it's all about being a capable firearms owner. And it's also about looking the part. So if you have a cool firearm like this, you're gonna feel that weird level, maybe you feel a bit more confident than just running, you know, a base level AK like this, where it's just stock, it's just nothing going on, there's no attachments, I took it off. You may think, well, I may not have the upgrades needed for the 21st century. Not the case with the Alpha Series furniture. So I do like that. Now, I also like that it's made by Midwest Industries, an American company. So I don't really have anything against Zenitco. I know they all talk trash, or maybe other American people may not like Zenitco just because they're Russian now. For me personally, I have nothing against Zenitco, but I do like supporting American-made companies. Now, there is also that weird factor of, do you want American furniture for a gun that was designed in Russia? Well, yeah, maybe, sure, I don't know. So, nonetheless, it is like that American pride in me that does appreciate that factor. And you have to think about the Zenitco aspect, where Zenitco now is becoming harder to get. So it gives you a cool looking rail with the option of being American made and not as expensive as Zenitco probably is now. The last thing I like is it does feel pretty solid, like I said a little bit earlier about the dust cover not moving and the rails feeling pretty good. I would say it doesn't add too much weight. It feels about where it should be. If you were to put more rails and optics on an AK, it's not like gonna drag you down. You're wondering, hey admin, I thought you were a type of guy to say, hey, hit the gym, work out. Who cares about the weight of your gun? Yes, I'll always say that and talk trash like that, but I do acknowledge the fact that if you have not been eating or drinking water for multiple days while also trying not to die in a situation playing the game of life, then maybe a gun will start to get really heavy that you are using. I acknowledge that. I know it exists. Now, real quick, I want to tell you about my personal journey with AK, just to kind of give you a little bit of background. If we're at this point in the video, chances are you are a diehard fan. Now, my personal story with AKs, I got into AKs during 2020 when the virus kicked off, right? It essentially, with the race riots and with the virus kicking off, it has sent the ammo prices through the roof of products, and I still wanted to shoot, and I ended up getting into AKs that way because at the time, 7.62x39 was rather affordable. So getting into AKs, started off with a base AK, and then I wanted to trick it out. And at the time, what I was doing was just kind of like doing a little getaway. I would throw an RS Regulate mount on there, an Ultimac rail, an RS Regulate side rail would come out later. And that was, that's like how I modernized my AK at the time. And while there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, it technically isn't the most efficient way, say as a Zenit code out, you know, 74 AK, which is a little bit more of a modern round. As time would go on, I would eventually get to the Jim Fuller built AK-74, and I would throw Zenit furniture onto it. It's like I started off on the very basic AK peasant scale and then worked my way up to getting a really cool tricked out AK. So that's like the TLDR speed notes of that. And so I've been running AKs for not like a really long time, but a bit, and I do really enjoy running them. Now, I am aware that there are more manufacturers of rails than just, you know, Zenit and Midwest Industries. There's also, you know, shout out to Sure Shot, shout out to RS Regulate for doing their things for adding parts that modernize AKs. And I'm sure there's some other guys, if you want to comment them, just do your thing, you know, get down there and be a keyboard warrior away, fight the good keyboard warrior fight, be the commando that God called you to be. And so I do acknowledge that. Now, here is the reality of AK owners. They are a different kind of breed, like I mentioned earlier. A diehard AK owner, I think, would always favor the idea of getting Zenit furniture, right? Just because of the nature of it. Usually they like Russian stuff. Usually they are more inclined to the Russian style of influence, whether that be the firearms, whether that be the furniture, the uniforms, the kit. And so I could see them gravitating towards that more. That's for the diehard AK guys, the guys that are like, Suko blah, like those guys. Now, the American style AK owner, the guy that maybe was a long time an AR owner like me, he may gravitate towards a more functional AK where he doesn't necessarily care about the X factor that the Russian furniture and gear brings to the table. He just wants that functionality. And something like the Midwest Industries setup may actually do that. So that is a reality of the AK owner. If you are someone who is like, okay, I want a functional AK, I want a gun in 7.62x39, or I want a gun in 5.45, I want to have the option for that, you know, as a backup because, hey, there's nothing wrong with having more firearms. I very much encourage you to do that because that is mega based, and having even more capable firearms, if your kit is all squared away, is that much better. Midwest Industries rails gives you that option. Now, going down the gun itself, of course, we gotta do that. It's a classic gun tube thing. Got a Surefire light, got a knock-off pec. Everyone's been talking super good about these Somo Gear pecs, but I think I got a lemon. I don't like the way it mounts, but you know, for the sake of the video, it's good to show you the mounting options. Aimpoint T2, EOTech G33, and then that's pretty much it. Now, going to the furniture itself, which is what the video is about. So we have their 10-inch Alpha Series rail. It's attached to the top cover up here, and then we have the stock. So overall, the furniture does pass the vibe check. I think it looks good, and I think it is functional. Guys, do your own research, make your own opinions, be your own man. I am just a YouTube dancing monkey, making semi-informational, but mostly, you know, for fun entertainment content. If you can glean anything from it, then that makes me really happy. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, leave a comment in the comments section down below. Your comments are a sacrifice to the algorithm God. If you guys want to support the type of content that you want to see, hit up that Patreon. Patreon, we do a bunch of giveaways. A fun story is I actually gave away an Airsoft RPK 74 that I used at a Milsom West game, and it had on it a Ultimac rail. And it was one of my favorite Ultimac rails, or it was one of two of my Ultimac rails, and I forgot it was on there, and I sent it off, and that guy got it. So join the Patreon. My loss can be your gain. You may have the chance to win some really cool stuff. Also on Patreon, we have exclusive content. Savio, what are we talking about in this exclusive video this week?
I just want to talk about your AK builds, dude.
Talk about the AK builds? You know what? Yeah, we can talk about the AK builds. We can get really into the weeds on that. That'd be really fun. Good idea, Savio. That's why we keep you around. I will double your rations of sushi and trin. All right, gentlemen, as always, stay easy, stay breezy. I'll catch you guys on the flip. Thanks for watching. Oh, that's really sharp. Oh, he criticized me. What's the matter with me? What's going on here?
The allergies.
Allergies. Now the base gun, now the base, redrop. For starters,